Sup dudes, it's Gaz and welcome back to the Warframe video. So today we're doing something I've wanted to do for a long time. We're making the Kuva Ogris a crit weapon. And not only is it becoming a crit weapon, it's going to be making Mesa a CC Lord. So we'll be going over that today too. But before we're into it, let's go over the sponsor of today's video. Let's talk about the sponsor of today's video, Black Squad Royal Road. Black Squad Royal Road is a free-to-play FPS game available on Steam where everything comes down to your skill and gameplay decisions. The newest version of Black Squad Royal Road is now available for all Black Squad players. With its compact file size, it's less affected by your network environment and PC specs. You can enjoy the authentic military FPS experience with over 85 weapons, nearly 50 maps, and 10 characters to collect. Not to mention nearly 500 different skins to customize with the new character and weapon customization system. There's multiple game modes like competitive, demolition, and team deathmatch with realistic gun sound effects to boot. The newest game mode is called Super Match, where you will compete for ranking against other players by collecting tokens. Check out my link in the description to try out Black Squad Royal Road today. Thank you so much to Black Squad Royal Road for sponsoring today's video. Alright, so we're going to be going over Inferno Launcher Mesa today, and the way this is going to work is pretty much we're using a low crit chance weapon, but making it 100% crit chance with Mesa's newly buffed augment, and we're actually going to be able to spam crit rockets with this setup. So, the way this works is that we're using the Nightwatch Napalm mod for the Kuva Ogris. We're also using Mesa's Ballistic Bullseye augment mod. This meter up here says 100%. That means our crit shot is fully charged up. Now that we have that charged up, we press the first ability button on Mesa again. Our next shot will have a massive crit buff. So if we fire it off now, this is a weapon with normally 9% crit chance. It's much, much stronger, and if we press the button again, you'll see the fire from Nightwatch Napalm will charge up your meter while it's on the ground. So if we apply more buffs, we can activate energized munitions for ammo spam, and just fire it off, activate again. Fire it off, activate it again, fully charged up. And that's the idea of this. We're actually going to be using some other forms of CC, though. As you can see, that's how much damage it normally does. And if it was to fully stack up, we would be having a massive crit rocket. So, it's not a crit weapon, usually. So we're going to first go over the Ogris build here. And it's going to be a Toxin Kuva Ogris. You could definitely go for a Heat one, too. It's not going to make too big of a difference. But yes, the idea here is going to be making this a crit weapon, but not modding for crit chance. Since it's got 9% crit chance at base, you're really not getting much value out of a crit chance mod here. You just see what it would look like on this setup. We go from 9% crit chance to 27% with reduced fire rate, so it's up to you if you think that's worth it. You could even also go for like primed cryo round over rhyme rounds, but getting a lot of heat procs out there on the ground is pretty good for, CCing enemies. Speaking of CCing enemies, we're using another one of Mesa's augment mods that I have really not tried out much, but I got recommended it quite a few times at this point. Muzzle Flash for Mesa. So the way this one works is basically you do 6 kills or assists, and it will release a blinding flashbang in the area. I'm going to show you that in some of this gameplay right here. So you fire off one rocket, get your crit buff ready, release the crit rocket, and then that's going to be probably 6 kills, at least if you're in survival. As you see that flashbang go off, those enemies are now vulnerable to finishers. So you could even use something like Arcane Trickery on Mesa to blind everything in the area, do a finisher, and go invisible. But I think that the way we're playing right now, we don't even need invisibility because the enemies are already pretty much perma-stunned. So, as far as the Mesa build itself, though, we're going for as much power strength as we want to get this over 100%. Since the Ogris has a 9% crit chance, we need to jam a lot of power strength on here. We've got 102% increased crit chance, which is going to be additive. So that would be 110, or 111 actually, once we release this rocket. The rest of the stuff, we've got some range to make our blind from muzzle flash further. It's also going to affect the stun from the just shooting gallery in general. Range doesn't really do anything else for our build, unfortunately. I guess technically it makes the bullet deflecting from Shatter Shield a little bit better, but you could honestly just take off Shatter Shield instead of Peacemaker if you felt like it. So Energized Munitions is here. It could be replaced with a damage buff. I know the Kuva Ogris has terrible reload speed, so I figured this would work, and it does let you spam some more, but honestly not always worth the energy cost. But yeah, everything here is just for survivability and ability stats. Rolling Guard's the only survivability mod we need, actually. Brief Respite for some Shield Gate, and then Arc and Acceleration. Since we are going to be making the Ogris a crit weapon, on critical hit, increased fire rate for primaries, and that does work on the Kuva Ogris. So that's a general gist of this prime shift because you're going to be using a rocket launcher. You don't want to get knocked over. So let's just get some more Steel Path gameplay in here. We're going to talk about how you could make this work. And I am running a crit damage ribbon, okay? So as far as, should you use this, I do think this is actually one of the best weapons for Mesa's recently buffed augment mod. Now, it doesn't do as high of scaling damage, but since we're able to run Hunter Munitions on the Kuva Ogris, we're getting slash procs that we would never be getting. So that's pretty nice. Now, this even has me thinking if an impact Kuva Ogris with the Hemorrhage mod instead of Hunter Munitions could be better. Now, I think we'd still want to run the Mesa crit buff there, but with an impact Ogris, it could potentially be, proccing impact, which would make the Hemorrhage proc happen, and that's a 70% chance versus a 35% chance for Hunter Munitions. But at the same time, you're going to be potentially diluting your procs and having to run another mod slot to get viral if you want viral. Now, you don't really need viral here, especially if you're running a Panzercat, but, viral with HM and even with heat too, since you're doing all these heat procs from Nightwatch Napalm, it does add up. And as you can see, whenever I do push the button for her 1, I have nearly an instant guaranteed crit rocket right after that. So it's a little bit annoying of a playstyle, to be honest. I wish you could just actually, no, nothing they could do to make change Mesa's 1 would make it not overpowered. If you could just have multiple rockets stored up, that would just be kind of broken, I feel like. So, yeah, really, really good stuff here. It's nice because, a lot of people feel like the Kuva Ogris is not as usable now because of the ammo changes. And I would definitely agree that it's not as usable feeling now. But, if you mod around it, you can definitely make it work. And this is one of the ways to make it work, for sure. So yeah, as far as, its Steel Path viability, it is going to one-shot most enemies you fight. It will not one-shot an Acolyte, though, unless you're doing a corrosive rocket. We've got a viral rocket, like I said, so, overall less damage against Acolytes, but still, as you see, the Steel Path Stalker's attacking me right now. It took about 2 or 3 rockets on him, and he's usually pretty tanky, so that's somewhat impressive. Yeah, so just, for locking down hallways, think about how much CC we have here, guys. We have Mesa's 2, stunning enemies in the area. We have Mesa's 2 augment, blinding enemies through walls. So double CC, and we also have the Nightwatch Napalm. If for some reason the enemy didn't die, they're on fire, blinded, and stunned. So they're probably not going to be able to fight back. So yeah, honestly, you could maybe even just go for more damage here in the long run if you wanted to. So hope you guys found this video interesting and helpful. As far as other weapons to be using with Mesa, the Cedo is really good. Like I said, the Trumna is really good. The Torrid is also something I'm experimenting with. But the Torrid is a really weird weapon. I request that we get an infested Lich Torrid someday. The Torrid normal is just weird. I might do some more experimentation with that in the future because I did get a Riven for the Torrid for Mesa, but it's not really working out the way I wanted it to. So either way, guys, hope you found the video helpful. Go check out that link for Black Squad Royal Road in the description down below, and I really appreciate all your support. Take it easy. Peace.